Hey guys, welcome back. So the objective of today's session is to create a question bank, then to create a quiz using the question bank, and finally to randomize the questions, of course, with the help of Moodle CMS. So let's get started. So I've logged into my Moodle page and I have inside my course as of now. So let me go for my edit mode. So I click here, I turn editing on. So once I turn editing on, let me create a new section so that I can create a quiz. So let me rename this session. Let me put it as exam testing. Now before adding my quiz, I need to create a question bank. So in order to do that, I can go to this setting box. Here I will have an option called as more. Just click that. Once you click that, you have a section for question bank, and you can just click that so that you can go inside the question bank menu. So here we have four major categories. One is the questions menu, second one the categories, third one import and export. So first of all, in order to create a question bank, you need to have a category for this question bank. So first of all, let's create a category. By default, you will be having a default category for that course what you're handling. So let's create a new category, and we need to assign a parent category for that. So if you select this parent category, the first one top for your course name will appear here. So you can select that as your parent, and you can give a perfect name for your category now. The category in which your question bank will be created. So let me name this as QB for exam 1. So this will be my name, and if required you can have some category info. I just leave it blank, and this one ID number is also optional, which will be a unique ID number for this category, but I leave it as optional. Let me go for add category. So once you click that, you can see that category is appearing in this menu here. So previously we had just two categories. Now we have added one more category, that is QB exam 1. So let's start importing the question bank inside this category. So in order to do that, we have two options. So you can click questions, select the category. So this is the newly created category for me. And under this, I can start creating questions. So if I select this method, then I have to create question one after the other. So if suppose I am having a list of 60 or 70 questions, it will be a tedious task. So in order to avoid this, we can have an option called as import. So let's go to this import option. So click that. You have several formats. One easy format is the first one, icon format. You can click this. So in order to create an icon format, you can create a simple Word file. You can have all your questions inside that Word file. So as you can see in my screen, I have a simple Word file which is not formatted. It's a plain Word file. I don't have any headers or footers. So your Word file should look like this without any headers or footers. You directly start giving your questions followed by the answers or the options followed by the correct answer. So this format called as icon format is useful only when we have multiple choice questions. Suppose if you have other type of questions like numeric values or short answers or lengthy answers or match the following, then this icon format will not work. So this icon format will work only when you have multiple choice questions. So saying that, so first you have to write your question. Then in the next line, you have to start typing your answers. So your answer should have the option value. So the option value here I have is A, B, C and D. So A followed by a dot, that is mandatory, followed by a space. Then you start typing your answer. Then in the next line, I give it as B followed by a dot, that is mandatory. Then give a space and type your answer. Likewise, you can have n number of answers here. And once you are done with typing your answers, then in the next line, you have to type the correct answer, I mean the option. So in order to do that, you have to type the keyword answer followed by a colon followed by the exact right answer. So it is mandatory that the last line should be in capital letters. Then when you want to type another question, leave a space between the previous question and the new one, and then start typing the question. Once you are done with the question, you can repeat the same with the help of different options. But this time we have another way of doing it. Instead of putting a dot, I have a bracket. So you can even write your answer in this form. So the first option A, which is in capital letter, followed by a bracket, followed by a space, followed by the option statement. Then in the second line, I have the option B followed by a bracket. So this way can also be followed. So this can also be followed. So you have two options. Either you can do it in this way, where you have the option value A followed by dot followed by the exact option, or else you can have the option value A followed by bracket followed by space followed by the exact option. In both the forms, the final answer should be written in capital letters. So likewise, I have created around 15 questions in this question bank. So we have to make sure that there is a space between each and every question, and also every answer option should be in a new line, and the final line should be your exact answer. So likewise, once you are done with this, you can save this as a text file. So let me select my location. So let me select the desktop. So I am not going to save this as a docx file. Instead, you have to save this as a plain text. So once you select this, you can give save. Let me rename this. So let me call this as question bank for exam. I'm going to save this. At the point of saving, it will request you to enter the Unicode format. So in this menu, please select other encoding, and under this you have to select Unicode UTF-8, then click OK. So once you are done, you can close this, and you can find the question bank that has been created in the form of a text file. So it's over here. So going back to Moodle's menu, I'm here in my import menu. So once you have selected the icon format, you can go to the general category. By default, this import category would have been selected, but you have to change it to the current category, that is QB exam 1. That's what I have now. So whatever questions I'm going to import will be imported inside this category. Then you have to select the file. So I'm going to choose file. So the file name is qb_exam.txt. You can open this and upload this file. Then you can click import. So once you have done this, then you can see the page getting filled up with the list of questions what you have in your question bank. So since I have 15 questions in my question bank, all the 15 questions have been imported. If you find any error here, then there should be some problem with the question bank what you have created. So we have to redo that. But I don't have any issues here. So let's give continue. So once you give continue, you can see the list of questions what you have here. Now we have created the question bank. So our job is to assign these questions to the quiz what you're going to create. So let me go back to the course again. So I have my section exam testing. So let me add an activity. So here I'm going to add a quiz. So let me add that. So once you add, you have the settings for your quiz. You can name that. So let me give a name for it. So I'll call it as testing quiz 1. So no description. If you want, you can have a description. We need to put the timing up. So let's say we'll start the quiz now, and I will end the quiz by 8 o'clock. And if you want, you can have your time limit for this. And this menu or this option, when time expires, open attempts are submitted automatically. That's the best option what we have, but it depends. So I'm going to select the first option. So for the grading part, it's not categorized and there is no grade to pass. And this is really important. The number of attempts allowed is just 1. And I'm going to check for my layout. So in my layout, I want every question appearing in a new page. So that's how I'm going to give. So new page, every question, followed by the question behavior. So this is what we want. So first of all, we need to shuffle within the questions. So whatever questions I'm going to select, so those questions will be shuffled. So I'll give it as S. By default, it is F, S. And also the second one, how questions behave. So it's about deferred feedback. When you select deferred feedback, the students will be getting the feedback once they complete the quiz. So by default, it's there. So you can select that. And finally, you can go for review options. This is also another important option what we have. We don't want the students to see the answers right when they complete the quiz, but we want them to see the answers once we close the quiz. So let's disable all these options. So once you disable all these options, so the last menu what you have is, after the quiz is closed, what are all the things that the students can view. They can view the attempt, they can view whether the answer is right, wrong, they can view the marks, they can have specific feedback or general feedback, and finally the overall feedback. So this is what I need. So finally, moving on to the appearance, I'm not going to change the appearance, let it be by default. There is no extra restrictions, so just we can skip this. And if you want, you can have overall feedback. So if the student scores 100, you can have some kind of a comment that is displayed here. So if there is another boundary like 50% or something, you can even enter it, but I leave it blank. As of now, there is no outcomes. So the common modules settings, no need to change it, let it be default. And there is no restriction here. So the activity completion, you can just say the students can manually mark the activity as completed. So that's fine. So we are done with all the menu options here. We can directly go to save and display the quiz. Now this is where we add the questions. So I'm going to click this edit quiz. So when I go for this edit option, as of now I have not added any questions to my quiz. So let me add some more questions. So I'll go to this add menu which is on my right hand side corner. Just click that. Now I need to add the questions from the question bank, and also they have to be random. So let me go for a random question. So when I click this random question, I can select the category. So since I have my question bank under the category called as QB exam 1, I'll select that. Once you select that, you can see the list of questions that appear here. So it's split into 3 different pages, but ultimately I have 15 questions with me. Now I just want to select how many random questions are supposed to appear in my quiz. So I have totally 15 questions. Let's say I need to select 10 questions here. So let's say I want 10 questions. So I'm selecting 10 out of 15. Or let me put it simple, like I want 7 out of 15, so that it will be more randomized. And if you want, you can add some tags, but I just leave it blank. That's not mandatory. So we are done here. We have selected the category. We have selected the number of random questions that we need, and then give add random question. So since it selects random questions, it doesn't display the question that is selected here, because it will be displayed dynamically when you access the quiz. But what you can check here is we have 7 questions, so that's more than enough. And since we say that I have 1 mark question here, so which is given here, if you want, you can increase the marks. So the total marks here is 7, because I have 7 questions. Then I will save this. So that's updated. So now I am done with my quiz updation. I have created the quiz. I have made changes with the settings. Then I have included the questions, and also I have randomized the questions. So I'll move back to the quiz. That's it. Suppose you want to create quiz for 3 different category of students and you want to randomize them. So it's pretty simple. I already have a quiz which is perfectly made with all the required settings. So what I do, I just click this edit. I can duplicate this. So once the duplicate copy is created, I can rename this. Let me call this as test 2. Then I can create another copy. You can rename this. I'm done with this. So now I have 3 different quizzes, quiz 1, 2 and 3, with the same question bank, and also it is randomized. So questions that appear in quiz 2 may not appear in quiz 1, and questions that appear in quiz 2 and 1 may not appear in quiz 3, since they are randomized in nature. Now what we can do is we can assign these quizzes to separate set of students. So all the 3 set of students will have different questions. There is a possibility that certain questions might be repeated because we have taken 15 questions and out of 15 we have selected just 7. So randomizing 3 different 7 set out of 15 is really difficult, and also keeping it unique. So there is a possibility like 1 or 2 questions might be repeated between the different quizzes here, but that's not a matter of concern. So as of now, we have created 3 different tests with random questions. So that's it. We have reached the end of the session. So if you have any queries, please do email us. Thank you for watching.